Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. I couldn't find my camera stand, so today we're going to be walking around the shop a little bit, talking about commander decks here at Game Grove. Oh, look, check this out. This is an uncut fossil sheet we just picked up to hang out at Game Grove. See, when we do the walking around, you get to see the cool stuff and the Pokemon things that we don't get to talk about that much on the channel. It's kind of unfortunate. All right. So today I want to talk about commander decks as a whole, the whole product line all the way back. I want to talk about why I am going heavy as a store owner on commander decks. I'm going to show you our shelf here. We used to have a whole top shelf that was like old draft booster boxes. Things like, original Dominaria, all the way back Wilds of Eldraine, even further back to some of the Ravnica sets. The idea being that at any time you could walk in, pick up a draft booster box and draft it with your friends, and we would give you prize support. And that was our idea, but it didn't really work. Nobody ever really took advantage of that, and it just ended up being kind of a dead shelf up there that nothing really happened with. So then recently, I had somebody reach out to the channel to sell some stuff, KitchenTableTCG at gmail.com, if anybody wants to sell your collections. And they had a bunch of old commander decks. I'm talking like almost a whole slew of commander decks. And it got me looking into the commander deck, market, I guess. And I was shocked to see how positive commander decks are as a whole when you look at the market. And this video is not really going to be an investment video. If you want to take that advice as investment advice, you can do that. This is not intended to be investment advice. But as a whole, the market tends to drift upwards on commander decks, especially after the reprints. And that kind of made me, excited about stuff like that. It really, though, it showed me that commander decks are low risk. It has the ability to move forward, and it doesn't have this ability to kind of craterize. You're not going to see a huge amount of people investing in commander decks like they do draft booster boxes and collector booster boxes and whatever. You're just not going to see that in the world. And it also has a really easy point of exit in terms of you can break down commander decks and you can break them down for singles. You can also, break them up for store owners and whatever. People like commander decks, so it's low risk. The second side of this, kind of going all in on commander decks, is I feel like as a store owner, I'm excited when somebody buys a new commander deck because the customer is excited when they buy a new commander deck. There's no like, I'm buying this to have a random pull and then they open their pack and they get nothing. There's no, buying a $150 box and getting $75 worth of value out of it and that kind of feel bad. As a consumer, when you pick up a commander deck, you know what you're getting, which is kind of a net positive for both the consumer and the customer, the customer and the store, because you enjoyed the product that you purchased at the store. And so for me, like that kind of good customer feel made me want to be the store in the area where you can walk in and we have, 65 different commander decks that you can choose from, right? Like you're not going to go in and just see the most recent releases. You can go all the way back to Commander 17. Like you have the ability to pick up a commander deck that you've wanted for a long time, or maybe that you missed out on because you weren't playing Magic in the past, and it's a feel good for the customer. And I think that was the big win for me, was creating an element of opportunity for customers to pick up a deck that maybe they didn't have, but also that they feel good when they pick it up. Now, on the other side of that, I don't want to be just positive for the customer side, but there's also a huge positive for the store owning side on this, which is that most people, when they buy a new commander deck, what else do they buy? They buy sleeves and they buy a deck box. And the margins on sleeves and deck boxes are about a little bit better, honestly, than sealed Magic product, especially from distribution. But also it's easy to stock. It's easy to reorder. I don't have to worry about, having a back room full of sleeves and deck boxes because they're always readily available. And it's a great, secondary purchase price. When you think of a commander deck and you think of spending $60 or $70 or $55, yeah, that's a win. But you also end up spending $20 on a deck box and $13 on sleeves, which is a huge win for the store. It's almost like selling a booster box, but instead of the risk of booster boxes for Magic the Gathering, the risk that, a Thunder Junction or I guess Murders at Carlisle Manor would be a better example, where the price just tanks and people aren't interested in it. You don't have that risk with the sleeves in the deck box. So it's a better kind of win for a store as well. And so those are the big three things I want to focus on. But now I also want to focus on the side that is more long-term collecting and investing, why I'm okay with commander decks sitting on the shelf. And that's that we have really seen commander decks perform as good, if not better, than booster boxes in the past. I think that this might be a little bit of a hot take. I'm a little off the cuff today, so correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. I think that there is usually a experience for booster boxes of which people are speculating on them. And in other words, I think the average booster box that comes out for Magic the Gathering gets speculated on by the consumers, by the Magic market, whatever. And that tends to have a negative effect on the way that the booster box prices go. When there's huge tanks, there's huge tanks. When there's huge skyrockets, there's huge skyrockets. It kind of causes this kind of confusion in the market sometimes about those things. If you take a look at commander decks, I don't think that as many people collect or invest in sealed commander decks, and you've seen the market kind of show that. You look at Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. That was a set that we couldn't sell those decks for a while. I think I remember having those decks. We bought maybe so many of them, maybe we just overbought, but we had them on our discount clearance commander section for quite a while. Those are now sitting at $85, $85, $57, and $40. That's almost, from a store owning perspective, that's almost a 300% return on investment if you were to pick up those things. That's a great thing. Phyrexia, All Will Be One, another one that has a $70 commander deck, and that's a set that just came out. And then you have the Lord of the Rings ones and the Fallout ones, and Fallout ones I guess we're not too far away from, but the Warhammer ones that are doing really well still on the secondary market without huge tanks, even though they have seen significant reprints and that kind of thing. So I just feel like the average investing and collecting side of the game ignores the commander decks more than they do collector booster boxes or set boxes or whatever, which adds another element to this that is an organic growth of the product's value, which I think is a really big win if you're going to have things on your shelf, because somebody comes in and they see a good price on a commander deck, they pull up TCG Player and we're $5 to $10 below TCG Player price because the market has moved up and we haven't repriced things. That's a whole nother big win. And then as a store, it's also a big win because you can always, if you need to clear up some space or if you need to generate some revenue, or one of the things I'm noticing that's happened is the Warhammer decks, everybody already has them. There's not very many people in our store who don't have one or two of the Warhammer decks that they wanted. So maybe it's time for us to move on from the Warhammer decks to clear up that, almost 1.5 feet of space for something new. Looking at the Marvel set that's coming out in the summer, or sorry, not the Marvel, but the the other thing that's not Magic the Gathering. So I think at the end of the day, we're going all in on commander decks. That's kind of the idea that I had, the reasoning that I'm doing that. I wanted to share that with you because that's kind of what we do here. And I'm going to include this on the next set as well. I am ordering, I already did this. I ordered more Thunder Junction commander decks than I typically would, and I didn't break them up for singles because rather than just move through the product at the record speed or a fast speed, I want to have these decks long term. I want to be able to have people who came and played it pre-release. Maybe they got busy with life. They come in 3 months later. They say, hey, I loved Thunder Junction. I wasn't able to pick up a commander deck at the time. I'm glad you still have them. Or a year or two down the line, being like, oh my gosh, remember how much fun Thunder Junction was? Do you still have the commander decks? And I can be like, yeah, we got them right there on the top shelf. And so I think that's a really cool, it does the same thing I wanted to do with the draft boxes, but at the end of the day, Commander is the format. Commander is the thing, and people build new commander decks all the time. And so to have these commander decks up there, I think is going to be a big win. Wanted to share that with you. I hope you have yourself a fantastic day. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you want to hop into the Kitchen Table TCG Discord server, you can do so at KitchenTableTCG.com, in which case, if you're in the Discord server, you can support the channel if you want, both at a $5 tier or a $20 tier. Make sure you sign up on not on your phone, but on desktop for that. Otherwise, otherwise it'll be more expensive because Apple takes a cut or something. I don't know. The $20 tier though, you do get access to distribution from me for any currently readily to be ordered products. So that's not pre-order products, but it is things that are restockable from distro. So I hope you have yourself a fantastic day. Be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again next video.